Hi everyone, how have you all been? I hope you've all been doing well. Apologies for the delay right there, I was just setting everything up and I was going through some technical issues. There's always technical issues going on sometimes with these streams, but thankfully you guys don't have to see any of those. Those are things that I deal with. And hopefully you guys get a clean stream at the end that all works well. Hi Ethan's Drawings, nice to see you again too, buddy. Jess, Griffin, I Commit, Big Bash, Goat, I Hate Anime, Alex, James, Saeed, Khan, it's great to see you again, buddy, as well. Trevor, Kidding Cell, great to see you, buddy. I think you've not been here for the last couple streams. The G Gamer, G1, Good Times, glad to see you here, buddy. You said that you weren't going to be here for Sonic spoilers. Don't worry. I'm going to make it a rule here. I'm going to tell everyone, like, no spoilers for Sonic 3, because a lot of people still haven't seen it yet. So hopefully everything will be fine. Jake, it's great to see you too, and spoiler indeed. For everyone who's not seen Mufasa, Jake says it here. Spoilers, Mufasa lives in the end. But you all knew that, unless you didn't see The Lion King. Which, who hasn't seen The Lion King these days? Give me a second here. Where is my stream? There we go. Just got multiple windows here that I'm managing as I'm doing all of this. Alright, let's see. Side says, no spoilers guys, otherwise Eric will ban you as a member. Well, don't be putting words in my mouth, but Eric will not be happy, and yes, Eric probably will take action if you spoil anything, so don't spoil anything. I won't ban you, but I have got the ability to actually stop you from commenting in the stream until next week. Until next week's stream, so no one give any spoilers on Sonic 3, because a lot of people here have still not have seen it. Jake says, someone should make an animation of Shadow throwing Mufasa off the cliff saying, long live the king. Well, just you wait. When AI becomes more mainstream, you probably can put that in as a prompt and get Sora to do it. I Hate Anime says, are we allowed to spoil Mufasa? I mean, there's not really anything to spoil in that movie. Because it's all a prequel, so everything that happens, you already know what's going to happen by the end. So, I'd say just don't anyway. There's no need to spoil something. Kind of like what Tax Fraud is doing right here with his Sonic question. G1 says, I won't spoil what happens in it, but the Sonic 3 credit scene alone beats Mufasa. Yeah, I will say this to you guys. There are 2 credit scenes in Sonic 3, so make sure you stick around for those of you that haven't seen it. There's a credit scene in the mid-credits, and there's a credit scene at the very, very end. So they're worth watching as well, so even that final one. So definitely stay in there for those credit scenes. The Time Shadow, I actually liked those resolutions. It was different than what I expected. Going in, I thought they were going to do something else with Shadow, but then when you see what they actually end up doing, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. I did not think of that. So I actually liked the resolution. Yeah. Hey Eric, says Khan, I've heard a lot of people want Matt Reeves' The Batman universe to connect with James Gunn universe, and I personally think that is a terrible idea. I don't think it's a good idea either. At the same time though, seeing what James Gunn's doing with the Superman, at least going by the trailer, it does make me excited to see a Batman and Superman team up together, or at least work together or interact with each other. And I think those two would actually be a very good pairing. We'll see what happens. I feel like Matt Reeves is a great filmmaker. I feel like if you were to throw him a curveball like that, he would be able to adapt, I think. But James Gunn insists that it's not happening, so we'll have to wait and see what actually happens. But it seems like, David Zaslav wants, that Batman and Superman to team up, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so yeah. Basically, guys, no spoilers for Sonic 3 throughout this stream, because a lot of people still haven't seen it. But I am working on the Versus video. I need to watch Sonic 2, and I've actually not seen Sonic 2 since it came out, so I'm going to be watching that. I was too busy to watch it before watching Sonic 3, which is what I usually prefer to do. But yeah, instead I'm going to have to watch Sonic 2 relatively soon, and then start writing the Versus video. So that's what I'll be getting up to. Big Bash says, Eric, how was your day? My day was very good, buddy. How was your day? I Hate Anime says, the volume is a bit quiet and I have full volume. Do any of the rest of you think it's too quiet? Because I've actually been I've got it on the same level, the microphone, that I had on the last several streams, so it'd be bizarre if it's quiet. Holly Smith says, I think it's fine, personally. Jess, I can't use movie footage of Sonic 3 because the movie's not out, so of course I'm going to have to use trailer footage when I'm doing the Versus video, so that can't be helped. G1 says, it seems normal to me. I Hate Anime says, maybe it's just my device. It probably is, because if you're watching it on a phone, maybe the speakers aren't as good or something, but I've actually monitored the sound of this on my phone speakers to see what the sound quality is like, and the sound quality is great on my phone, so probably is your phone, probably. Eric, how was Sonic 3? For me, it was peak. I really enjoyed Sonic 3. I'll tell you guys that right now. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was definitely one of the most comedic of the three films, but also I liked how this film had less of the humans in it out of the three films. So you spent most of your time with the hedgehogs and Dr. Robotnik. And of course, if you've seen the trailer, you know, the other Robotnik as well. I was like, this is good. They've really nailed it down to the characters you want to see. And the humans are there, and they do add their own little family drama to it, but it's definitely better when we have the characters that they skimmed it down to. I really did enjoy that very, very much. I really did. Human characters are boring. Yeah, I won't say they're boring. I've seen boring characters, but they definitely aren't the reason you're there. Going back to drinking water from my bottle, which is very much needed. Eric, did you see Sonic 3 already? Yes, I saw it yesterday. And every single one of like the showings were pretty much booked, so it's like people are really going in to watch Sonic 3. I actually asked the lady who was taking tickets, who was at the stand. She was selling tickets to Mufasa, and I was like, seriously, Mufasa? I'm sorry, to Moana 2. And I was like, seriously? Moana 2 is still selling tickets? And she says, yeah, but it's starting to come down, though. She goes, people are getting Mufasa, but I'll tell you what, the movies that are really selling tickets is Sonic 3. And I said, really? So what, are they pre-booking it? Because the movie wasn't out yet. This is when I went to go see Mufasa. And she goes, yeah, people are booking the tickets in advance. And then I had a look at my on my theater's website, and yeah, a lot of the seats were being booked. So I had to quickly book myself a seat for the next day, and I did, and I managed to get there. So yeah, a lot of people were really getting in there to watch Sonic 3. So I have a strong feeling that we're going to have a very good box office performance for Sonic. So that will be very interesting to see how that all goes. Let me just take a look here, because I am trying to look for some updated numbers on Sonic's box office. Because there is some important information that seems to be missing. Yeah, it's still missing. I'll tell you what information is missing in a bit. It's a real shame that it's missing. I Hate Anime says, I'm watching Sonic on Christmas Eve. Oh, so you're watching it in 3 days' time. Okay, I hope you have a great time, bud. Sonic is beating Mufasa right now, says Jess. Well, wait until I start giving numbers out. Sonic 3 had really good emotion themes. It's legit had me tearing up twice. For me, it didn't have me tearing up, but it definitely had it brought the feels at points. I know what you're talking about, Big Bash. It definitely has like it brings the emotions in. That's for sure. They did a very, very good job with bringing in the emotional elements of Sonic. I thought they did a really wonderful job with that. especially with Shadow. So that was really good. Alright then, so we're about to get into the stories, and as always, when we start going through these stories, if you want to ask me any questions, I won't be answering any of the questions unless they are posed to me via a Streamlabs chat, which you can do from the link in the description or the link in the chat. And they'll also be presented via, and you can also ask me questions through super chats. Those are the only ways I will answer your questions whilst I'm telling the stories. And also, if you donate that way, it really supports the channel. So please do if you can. That would be a really big help. So with that said, let's get into the stories. Okay, so bear with me a second. Alright. So, Sonic 3 versus Mufasa. Both of these movies came out on the same day, and we're going to be comparing their box office numbers. Now, Mufasa is supposed to be a sequel to one of the most popular movies in terms of box office. Like, before Inside Out 2 came out, the original live-action Lion King movie was like was the 10th highest-grossing movie of all time. The 2019 Lion King remake. So, with a movie that grossed that much, you would expect a movie that is related to that to make some real box office bank. Well, we've got the two movies here that came out on the same day, and we're going to now look at their box office. Now, check this out. We've got the budgets for both movies here. For Sonic, the movie had a $122 million budget, which is the highest budget for these Sonic films. And then we have Mufasa, which has a $200 million budget, as you would expect from Disney. They always put in $200 million. But from what the reports are saying, it cost over $200 million. So bear that in mind. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a slight adjustment here. There you go. That's more of a true representation of what the box office of the movie would be. So it's made over $200 million. Over $200 million for Mufasa. And now we're going to take a look at the domestic box office. How much the movie made in America. So Sonic 3 had $222 million budget, and domestically it made $62 million. Now, that is a good number, but it is a little bit of a letdown. It's a very good number, but it is a bit of a letdown, and I will explain that why in a bit. But there's an asterisk there as well. So yes, $62 million. Now, how much did Mufasa make at the box office in its domestic box office numbers? Remember, Mufasa has a bigger budget than Sonic 3. So get a load of this, how much Mufasa made on its opening weekend. Yep, Mufasa made $35 million at the domestic box office. Compare that to the $62 million that Sonic 3 made with a much lower budget. That is not a good result for Mufasa. Mufasa is supposed to be something with the budget it has, with the franchises connected to, with the fact that it's from Disney of all companies. It's only made $35 million on its opening weekend. That means those numbers will start to go down from here. So yeah, that's not a good result, especially for a movie as expensive as this. So that is a very bad result for Disney. Now, let's continue and take a look at the numbers. Now, even though it's a bad number for Disney, there is an upside, believe it or not. And we'll talk about that in a second. So, now let's take a look at the international box office numbers for these two movies. We'll start with Sonic first. Sonic, as you can see, we oddly don't have the international box office numbers for the opening weekend. Now, that is very bizarre because that doesn't usually happen, but I could not find the numbers for it, the international numbers. I looked at various websites, and right now they haven't got the numbers in, which is so strange. So I don't know what to say to that. The Time Shadow has done a £1 donation. Thank you very much, buddy. Let's see, what is he asking? I'm surprised anyone's even talking about Mufasa considering how unpopular the 2019 Lion King was. I thought it'd be getting as much recognition as Kraven the Hunter. Anyway, Sonic 3 was great overall, 100% the best of the three. I won't tell you if I agree with that, you're gonna have to wait for my Versus video. But yeah, it is kind of surprising that anyone's even talking about Mufasa, but no one really is. It's like the discussions around Mufasa are overwhelmingly quite negative in regards to just critical, or in terms of critical opinions, and also in terms of audience appeal. It's not being talked about in favorable terms. But everyone is talking favorably about Sonic 3. It's got a really high Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a really high audience score. Sonic 3 is really, like, catching everyone's attention right now. So, but I will say, it is disappointing we've not got the international box office numbers, because I'm in the UK, so we will come under international box office, and I can tell you, I would bet you they will have very high international box office numbers, because like I said, my theatre was packed. So a lot of people are going to see this movie. But now we get to the international box office numbers for Mufasa, and this is where Disney can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. Let me get rid of the chat here because it's actually getting in the way. But here. The international box office for Mufasa is $87.2 million. So, essentially, it's made over $120 million at the box office in its opening weekend in total. Which actually sounds a lot better of a number when you count this international box office numbers in here. So, it's actually got a pretty good numbers, I would say. I'd say that is pretty good. Now, is it good as it should be for Disney standards? Probably not. I think they would... Clearly, Sonic has taken a big, huge bite out of Mufasa's lightning, essentially. Their thunder, as Monica would say, their thunder is being stolen. Monica from Friends, that is. But yeah, that's not... This is overall a better number because of the international numbers, but man, those domestic numbers are low for a Disney movie. So yeah, Sonic, once we get those international box office numbers in, Sonic is going to absolutely thrash Mufasa. Because if this is the kind of high international box office numbers we get, then I bet you we will get high international box office numbers for Sonic 3 as well. Because Sonic is the movie that everyone was talking about, not Mufasa. And I unfortunately did watch Mufasa as well. I watched it the day before I saw Sonic 3, and man did it just drain me. I've got a review for Mufasa coming out as well, by the way, so stay tuned as I will be giving you my thoughts on that. So, yeah, now, this is something where I would say... Now, do you remember when earlier I said that there's actually something not so good about this number for Sonic 3? Well, I'll tell you what that is right now. Here is Sonic 2. Now, Sonic 2, on its opening weekend, domestically, it actually made more than Sonic 3. It made $72.1 million. Versus Sonic 3's $62 million. So Sonic 3 actually came in $10 million under Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So that is really quite interesting. Now, I'll tell you why I think that is. I think the reason Sonic 2 made more money than Sonic 3 has is because Sonic 2 came out in March, whereas Sonic 3 came out in Christmas. And right now, Christmas is always a very busy time of the year. People will go to watch movies, but they usually space out when they go to watch the movies. So they might not, like many of you have still not seen Sonic 3 yet. So there's a lot of people that still want to see the movie, but they're either too busy or probably can't buy tickets just yet. So it might be one of those two reasons, but I really think it's down to the fact that it's Christmas and people are busy. So people will, throughout the holidays, go to see more movies, and that's when I think the box office numbers will more than make up for it for Sonic 3, and I think it will then make more money than Sonic 2 did. Because it definitely seems like the box office trajectory for Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and upwards is going higher. So I think that it is going to do better. Give it another couple of weeks, I think those numbers are going to go much higher. So this domestic box office number from Sonic 2 is much better right now than Sonic 3's box office numbers, especially when you take into account that Sonic 2's budget was lower than Sonic 3's. But I think in the long run, due to the time of the month that we're in, the time of the year, I think Sonic 3 will end up making more money by the end of its run than Sonic 2. It's just right now a little bit of growing pains that is having. But these are still great numbers for Sonic 3. They were taking away all the great headlines, whilst Mufasa from Disney was not taking away great headlines. It was kind of an embarrassment, because for Disney, you expect a much better box office result. Not only because the original Lion King remake made so much more money, but also because Disney recently have been making more money with Deadpool, Wolverine, Inside Out 2, Moana. So for them to go from those 3 big hits to this really shows a complete difference between what happens when they give audiences what they want and what happens when they give audiences stuff they've never asked for and they don't want. So yeah, that's what I think has gone on right here, is that Disney have really misjudged their audience, and Paramount have not. They've given their audience exactly what they wanted. So that's why Sonic is going to do better than Mufasa. And Mufasa is just another one of those movies that is really falling apart due to its reputation. That reputation being that Disney just keep on making live-action remakes, and people are just getting tired of these live-action remakes. And Disney are also making movies that people just don't want to see. And Mufasa is one of those movies. So yeah, Sonic 3 has done a great job. I really wish we could have known those international box office numbers, because I think they were going to be huge. But as is, we haven't got them. Maybe if we get them through the stream, I'll update those numbers and then we can talk about it. But as of right now, it doesn't seem to have them. Let me take another look and see if it does. Nope, they still haven't given the international box office numbers, which is so bizarre. So yeah, Sonic 4 has been confirmed. They're going to be doing a Sonic 4, and as you would expect, I thought it was going. I guessed what character was going to be introduced in the credit scene for the next movie, like they've been doing with every single film, and it was exactly the one that I thought it was going to be. So yeah, they're going to basically continue making these Sonic movies, and I hope so long as they're creative and they keep giving us what we want, then great. But still, one thing that really helped these movies was Jim Carrey. And as always, I really hope they keep bringing him back in these movies, because he is just so good. So I hope they don't make any of these movies without him. So yeah, we got great response here and a great performance from Sonic 3. And it's only going to get better as the weeks go by. So, do you guys have any questions regarding any of this? Sonic 3 has not released internationally, says I Commit Tax Fraud. How is it not? Because... that's interesting, because... I'm what you would consider, where I am is international numbers. Let's see, international release date. Alex Green says Sonic 3 was everything I wanted a Sonic movie to be. It must have been released internationally, because I come under an international, sort of like area, so that means that if it's not released internationally, I shouldn't have seen it yet. December 21st. Ah, I see. So yes, it came out in the UK in December the 21st, but... Actually, no, it also came out in Ireland on December 21st, but for international audiences, it's not coming out until December 25 and December 26. I see what you mean. And some places, it's not coming out until next month for them. Ah, so I see what you mean then. That's a very bizarre thing. I've never seen that before, where they just release it in the UK, the US, and Ireland, and then everywhere else it's not out. That is very bizarre, that is. That's weird. Although Nosferatu, that new horror movie, it's already out in America, but for here in the UK, it's not coming out until the new year. So the release dates are pretty insane this year, in the end of this year. I Hate Anime says these release dates are wild. Yes, they are wild. Jake says, is domestic more important than international? Both numbers are important, but yes, domestic is arguably more important because the movie studios actually get more money back from domestic box office than they do international box office. So usually international box office is a good consolation if you can't get good domestic box office, but usually they want to go for that domestic box office. Khan, you're gonna have to wait for my Moana 2 video. Trust me, I talk about that. I Hate Anime says, how long are the credits before the end credits scene? Well, the first credit scene is the mid credit scene, so you only gotta wait about a minute or two tops. But then the credit scene at the very end, you're gonna have to wait like how you do for normal credits in movies, and you'll get a credit scene that I think is worth staying for. So, yeah. Joshman says, Eric, I did have a question. Do you think Mufasa is not doing well because of the international box office? No, Mufasa is doing well because of the international box office. Look at these two numbers here. Domestically, so in America, Mufasa is not doing well. If that was the only box office that Disney had, this would be a complete flop. It would be. The only reason that there's some hope for it is that international audiences do seem to be watching it. I don't know why, that's anyone's guess as to why, but that is something that Disney can actually look at and say, okay, at least we can rest on that. Let's hope those international box office numbers stay up. But I think the reason why those international... I'll tell you this, actually. Something I just thought of. I think the reason why these international box office numbers for Mufasa are so high is because Sonic 3 is not out internationally yet, which we just found out. If it was, I bet you these international box office numbers would be so much lower for Mufasa. The reason they are not is because that's all people have to watch right now, is that and Moana 2 internationally. So give it a few more days this week when Sonic 3 comes out there, I think it will just completely take all the steam away from Mufasa and whatever is left of Moana 2. So yeah, I think that is a huge thing that we need to wait for. So let's wait till the end of this week and maybe this upcoming week, and maybe we'll talk about the updated box office numbers then, potentially. Drake Holly says, pure luck for Mufasa. Indeed. I bet Disney are, like, thanking their blessings that Sonic 3 did not release internationally yet. So they've got a few more days for Mufasa to perform. But I think then, yeah, Mufasa is just going to fall flat on its face after that, I think. The Time Shadow says, I'm looking forward to Moana 2. The first one was so good. Well, I'm glad. Just wait for my Versus video, and you'll see what I think of the two of them. Eric, can we move on now? Not begging, by the way. No problem, buddy, but people are still asking questions. We'll move on, don't worry. Has anyone else got anything else they want to say? Any questions? Maybe you have... Do you have any speculations as yourself as to why Mufasa did so well internationally? Or do you think I cracked it? That Sonic 3 is not released internationally yet, so Mufasa is all they have to see. That could potentially be the reason why. JL Film Natic said if only Sonic 3 was PG-13. That would have been cool if they could have made this one PG-13, given how dark Shadow's backstory is. Supersonic Adventure says, do you love the third act? The third act is what made me like the movie as much as I did. I actually think it had some really good emotion in there. Had some cool visuals, cool action, and it was nice. It was very, very nice. So yeah, that's the reason why I think Sonic for many people will actually be something really good. Time Shadow, no, there is not a new goal that we have to reach for Streamlabs. So if you want to do any donations just to help to support the channel, you can do so, but no goals as of the moment right now. Batman's Gamer says, the great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. Sonic 3 looks down on Mufasa's words. Yeah, they do. Batman's Gamer, give me a second, let me just write that down. Thank you for the $5 donation. And let me read what you said again. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. Sonic 3 looks down on Mufasa's words. Yeah, Sonic 3 is basically up there as the great king. Which is kind of funny, because the Mufasa movie is not going to be a king at the box office this year, that's for sure. And who would have thought that Paramount would kick Disney's ass? Disney are usually the ones that always make a crap ton of money by the end of the year, because they always release their movies during Thanksgiving and Christmas. But Sonic 3 has actually beaten Disney to it. People are beating Disney quite a lot now in terms of taking their thunder away from them. So that's actually pretty cool. It's like Universal and now Paramount. There's other studios that are beating Disney. And if the new Superman movie kicks the Fantastic Four's ass, or just kicks Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolt's ass, that means that DC are going to be doing some really good work as well. Like, Warner Brothers are also going to be kicking Disney's butt. So yeah. The G-Gamer says Wicked was scared of Moana 2, yet Sonic faced Mufasa head-on and is gonna win. Yeah, it is. I bet you that Sonic 3, once it releases internationally, those international box office numbers from Mufasa are going to pale in comparison to the international box office numbers for Sonic 3. I tell you, that's what I think is gonna happen. Jake says Disney had a bad 100th anniversary. Yeah, not only Disney, but also Sony. Haven't they been flashing their 100-year Columbia Pictures logo at us? Even with Kraven the Hunter, they opened with 100 years of Columbia Pictures. Well, they can take a look and read it and weep that the box office numbers are doing bad for them as well. Shall we look at the Kraven box office numbers? Let's quickly look at how Kraven is doing. Kraven the Hunter. Let's look at those numbers. The numbers for Kraven are so bad, no one's even talking about them. Ooh. So Kraven has been out... How many weeks has Kraven been out for now? It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it? So yeah, 2 weeks. Its domestic opening was $11 million. So take a look at these domestic openings right here. And then compare that to Kraven, which was only an $11 million domestic opening. Like, literally just over $11 million, but hardly worth anything. So Kraven has had an $11 million domestic opening box office, and it only had a 25.4 international box office. Well, right now, today, actually no, I'm talking about to date now. That was opening. Now let's talk about 2 weeks in, how Kraven the Hunter is doing. Kraven the Hunter, domestically, 2 weeks in, has $17.4 million, and the international box office 2 weeks in is $25.4 million. So just take a look at that. The domestic box office 2 weeks in is $17.4 million. Meanwhile, opening weekend for these two movies is much higher than 2 weeks of domestic box office from Kraven. And then the international box office of both of these numbers, well, we haven't got the Sonic one to compare it to, but we do have the $87.2 million from Mufasa, and 2 weeks in, you're only getting $25.4 million from Kraven the Hunter, which makes Kraven's worldwide box office so far to be $42.8 million. So $42.8 million with 2 weeks versus Sonic 3 opening domestic only box office for its opening weekend, $62 million. And $35 million domestic only with Mufasa, and $87.2 million international. And worldwide for Kraven is $42.8 million. $42.8 million worldwide after 2 weeks. These movies are beating that with just one of these numbers they've got here. The G-Gamer says Kraven didn't even get to #1 when it came out, lol. Indeed, yeah, because Sony's have got a shit reputation when it comes to these movies. So everyone just thinks the worst about Sony when it comes to these, and they're like, yeah, there is no way we're gonna go pay to see a movie about Kraven. Let's just wait, let's not watch it. And if we are even the slightest bit interested, they'll put it on digital very quickly, and we can just check it out then. In fact, I saw some people spreading some really good quality clips already. Somehow there's a good copy floating around out there. So yeah, that's extra reason why it feels like people don't even need to go to see the movie, because people are putting the best clips up on, certain websites online. I Hate Anime says Kraven is already on digital. Lol. It can't already be on digital. I thought some funky copy was going out. Let's take a look. Kraven the Hunter digital release date. Kraven the Huntress is expected to be released digitally in January of 2025, and it's gonna... And the physical release on Blu-ray and DVD is expected in February of 2025. So yeah, right around the corner, Kraven is already going to be released for you guys to watch in the comfort of your own home. That's how bad Kraven is doing. These movies are going to stay in theaters as long as they can, to rake in all the cash they can. Meanwhile, Kraven already, they might as well, with these low as heck box office numbers, they might as well just throw Kraven on digital right now. There's no reason for it to be in theaters at this point. Dead Wolf says, Kraven haven't made a lot of Kraven dollars. You know what's funny? This is one of the first movies where people didn't even bother really making much memes about Kraven. Like, they made a lot of memes about Morbius, about Madam Web, but they didn't really do any memes with Kraven. They just said, I ain't Kraven this. That's basically where it ended. Some people said it's Kraven time, but that was nowhere near as inspired as the other jokes they've made about it. So yeah, a lot of people have just... They've dropped off of the whole Kraven craze. And they just don't care. So that's really, really funny. Trevor says, don't forget that Mission Impossible 8 and Lilo and Stitch remake are releasing the same day in May 23rd. Hopefully Tom Cruise is going to make Disney bankrupt. Yeah, hopefully he'll kick their asses as well. Jake says about Kraven, what else can you do with it? It's just not worth it. Exactly, it's not worth it. So even these movies... They would get by on being really bad, that's where the chatter would be, but now people are just sick of it. They're saying just stop. And I don't know why Avi Arad is not fired yet, or at least demoted. Like, they keep giving him, like, a lot of control over this stuff, and he's just causing problems. The Time Shadow says, I'm not familiar with the game that Shadow's backstory is explored in. Is the film's depiction accurately as dark as it is in the game? I'd say no. In the movie, they do it. So they stick to his backstory, to Shadow's backstory, but they do make it a little bit more, family friendly. It's still dark what happens, but they try to make it a bit more family friendly, which is kind of what we expected. But they did not make it insultingly family friendly. So I will at the very least give them that. I'd say they did a good job. I would have liked to have seen it go harder. But I still think they did a good enough job. But I really do wish they would have gone harder. And it looks like we've now got a $10 super chat from Jess. Thank you very much, Jess. Jess says, hey Eric, around the time Fast X came out, Fast and Furious are getting more movies. Around the time Fast X came out, Fast and Furious are getting more movies. A 3-part film, and it needs to stop. I know Joker 2 didn't bore you because you like smart movies. I love action movies. No, Joker 2 just didn't bore me because it felt like there was stuff to look at, and I liked the court case stuff. I didn't think Joker 2 was smart as it thought it was being. But that's why I enjoyed watching parts of Joker 2. But the more you reflect on it, that's where the problems come in, and I hated that ending. But yeah, what, Fast and Furious, are they making 3 movies now? I heard they're going to end it with... It was supposed to be a 2-parter, is what I heard. Are they now going to try to end it with a 3-parter? That's ridiculous. But yeah, thanks though, Jess, for that Streamlabs chat. And then we've got Alex Green, who's done a $2 super chat. Thanks, bud. He says, Avi Arad was Kathleen Kennedy before Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, except Kathleen Kennedy is being phased out. But Avi Arad, despite all the screw-ups he's been doing, he's still allowed in. He screwed up Spider-Man 3. He screwed up X-Men 3. He also screwed up with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and now he's screwing up with all these Sony spin-off films. Like, how? And he also screwed up with Uncharted by casting Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. He really doesn't give a shit. So it's like, why is he still there? Anytime his name is attached to stuff, people know it's gonna suck. His name is starting to become synonymous now. Like, people are starting to know who he is. So they really need to, some say Blade Trinity, like, wow, this guy needs to just stop. Why do they keep him on? What dirt does he have on them that they keep him on? He's becoming renowned now for when it comes to all these terrible movies. So it's like, yeah, Avi Arad is the reason. He's one of the reasons. Deadwolf says, hope Avi doesn't go to DC. I freaking well hope so as well. For the love of Pete, says Batman's Gamer. Yep. Batman's Gamer says, Sony is making Karate Kid movie with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan. Yeah, I'm aware of that. If it's the Cobra Kai creatives doing it, then great. But honestly, I don't even know why they're bothering making a movie. Just make another season of a show. I'd watch that. Eric, when is Sonic 3 being released internationally, like worldwide? December 25th. So we got 3 days to go. At least with my time zone. Right now. Jake says there's nothing original anymore. No, there are original stuff, but it's just that there's plenty of original movies out. It's just that we don't really pay attention very much to the original movies when they do come out. That's kind of the thing. We always look at franchises a lot. Jake says, by the way, Interstellar is getting a sequel now. I doubt that, because why would there even be a sequel to Interstellar? That sounds kind of silly to me. I don't hear about anything about an Interstellar sequel. Nolan's working on a different movie next. No. If a sequel would happen, I would have heard about it, but there's no Interstellar 2 happening. Yeah, there is no Interstellar 2 happening. So I don't know where you got that from, bud. So you hear. I have looked it up. I don't see nothing there. And if that was going to happen, it would be a huge story. The fact that it isn't means that it's probably coming from somewhere that's not reliable. Anyway, enjoying Creature Commandos. I've still not seen Creature Commandos. I still have to watch that. Sony would get a good kick in the nuts for this Kraven film. Ah, Hui Tunmo says, off topic. Eric, remember when I said the Fern's whole tough girl persona in Skeleton Crew was just an act? Well, the latest episode confirms that. Okay, good. Because I thought her acting with that was terrible. I was like, this seems like a kid is just pretending and is a bad actor. And yeah, I don't know if it all being an act was the reason why her acting was so bad. I still would have liked to have seen a better performance of her trying and then dropping it. But yeah, that was just... I didn't like her acting in that first episode. Did you hear that Rob Pattinson wants to join James Gunn's DC universe? I've not heard that. I've not heard anything. Let's see. Robert Pattinson wants to join James Gunn universe. It says here, it's claimed that James Gunn wants to merge the DCU with the Matt Reeves Batman universe and bring in Robert Pattinson side by side with David Cornsworth as the new Superman. It says that it's claimed that James Gunn wants to, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Ethan has done a $7 Canadian donation. Thank you very much, Ethan. I really, really appreciate that. And Ethan asks, have you seen Arcane? If not, highly suggest it, and even do a versus vid comparing the two seasons. I've only seen the first season when it came out. I thought it was great. Those first 3 episodes to me were as good as it gets with that show. But it's been way too long. I understand it takes a long time to animate, Arcane, but it took so long for them to finally release the second season, and I still haven't seen it yet. But that's mainly because I'm very busy. If I wasn't busy, I would have gone on to watch it, but I haven't. Because of that, we got a new subscriber to the channel, which is great. So, welcome, Dante. I hope you're watching the stream. But yeah. Khan says, Eric, I will warn you about Season 2, is that finale does feel a bit disappointing, at least in my opinion. I've heard a lot of people say that Arcane Season 2 feels rushed, which is kind of interesting, because they end it with Season 2. Well, I'll have to see when I see it, but I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say. Although I'll consider putting my reaction up of that on Patreon when I do watch it, so definitely you'll want to become a Patreon member or a YouTube member, and hopefully you'll be able to watch me watch that. Do you think Paramount will do a Shadow spin-off movie or show? Do I think Paramount will do a Shadow spin-off movie or show? Well, they already have. They've done a Knuckles one, so I guess it would be cool to see a Shadow spin-off, but at the same time, if they do that, I want it to be darker. Like, you know, utilize the extra sort of like leg room that they have for making stuff darker on streaming, and I would like to see them do a darker Shadow story because I think you can warrant it. That being said, I don't think they'll do it. They might do a Shadow show, but I think it will be light. I hear the Knuckles show was very light. You guys have asked me to watch that, but I've not seen it. I don't even know. I think Sonic 3 might have made a reference to that show, but I've not seen that show, so I don't know if they did make a reference to it, or if I'm just guessing they did. But yeah. Anyone excited for Ballerina? No, I don't think anyone's excited for Ballerina. Alright. Okay, everyone. That is it now for this. Now let's move on to the next story, which is all about Superman. Just look at that poster. When you look at that poster, don't you just feel excited about Superman again? Look at that logo. Look at that pose. Look at all those colors. Now that is a quality poster. We don't get posters like that no more, do we? At least for something as, you know, something comic book like this. But that's what Superman does. Like, how many crappy Tom Holland Spider-Man posters have we gotten with his films? Where everyone has, like, talked about how cheap they look. This looks classic, this does. Classic and new at the same time. Alright then, so, what are we going to talk about when it comes to this? Well, the trailer, as you all know, came out, and if you want to see my trailer reaction for this Superman, then all you got to do is go on over to my Patreon, or go on over to my YouTube members, and you can watch the trailer reaction for Superman. In fact, give me a second. Where is the web page gone? Give me a second. Okay. Here we go. I've put a link below. You can click that link in the chat, and that link will take you to the Superman trailer reaction. Goat says, why are the trailer reactions only for members? Well, the trailer reactions that I do are Patreon exclusives, so you can only get them on Patreon, or you can get them on YouTube memberships. And the reason why is because trailer reactions always get copyright claims. Copyright claims always cause issues and problems when you put up a public video. But when you put them up privately or for members, it doesn't cause your YouTube channel any problems. So that's why I put them behind Patreon and YouTube members. So that this way you guys can watch my trailer reactions, and I don't have to do any clever tricks like other people do, where they have to take the sound out, or they have to cut their reaction, or they have to mirror the trailer. So you get the trailer reactions proper, like the pure, clean trailer reactions without any sort of like trying to subvert the copyright system. So that's why I have them on Patreon or YouTube memberships. So that's why I put them there. And of course, if you do it, there's other benefits too to joining and watching the trailer reactions. You get two benefits for joining the membership. But yeah, there's a link right there to the Superman trailer reaction. So if you want to watch it, you can click it and then maybe watch it after the stream, or maybe even you can watch it during the stream. But I would recommend watching it after the stream because we got this to talk about. All right then. So the reason we're talking about Superman right now, if you want to, like I said, if you want to see my trailer reaction, you've got the trailer reaction right there. But the reason we are talking about Superman right now is because James Gunn put a tweet out right here, and I'll read that tweet right now. He says, "Crypto really did take us home with over 250 million views and 1 million social media posts. Superman is officially the most viewed and the most talked about trailer in the history of both DC and Warner Brothers." This is because of all of you. Thank you. We're incredibly grateful and most of all, excited to share this movie with you in July. Happy holidays. So yeah, it seems that this trailer really blew up online. And I know it blew up online because it got just like a ton of traction on social media. It was trending. And here in the UK, we rarely ever trend when it comes to movies and news like that. Except if it's for something really, really big. And yeah, this trended. So it seems like everyone is really like, we gotta see this trailer reaction, this trailer. Not trailer reaction. Everyone's like, we've got to see this trailer. So, yeah, people were really, really excited to see the trailer for this, and everyone's got their own opinions and thoughts. But it looks like it's all paid off. Give me a second here. We've got a super chat here. So I'm just going to answer that quickly. We've got a $5 New Zealand dollar super chat from Mehul Chandra, who says, "Hey Eric, what's your rating for Sonic 3 and how would you rank the trilogy?" For Sonic 3, that's an interesting question. I need to watch Sonic 2 again, so I can't really rank the movies because I've only seen Sonic 2 once when it came out. So I don't know what score I would give Sonic 2. That's the problem right there. So I don't really know how to rank them. So right now I will say, from what I remember, I think I liked Sonic 2 the least out of the first two. So I think if I was to rank it right now, it would be 3, 1, 2. But that could change. I need to watch Sonic 2 again and then reevaluate my thoughts on it. So that's my ranking right now. Adam Grunther, who's joined and given a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Adam. I really appreciate that. He says, thoughts on Christopher Reeve's Superman. I really like Christopher Reeve's Superman, but I will tell you this. I've not seen the first Superman movie since I was a very little kid. So I need to see that movie again before I give my thoughts on it. But let me think. I do remember Christopher Reeve a lot from Superman 2. That's the one I've seen the most. For some reason, that's the one that would always come on TV. And I really like Superman 2. He was great. If you've seen the scene where, I think this was a deleted scene or in the Donna cut, where Lois takes out a gun to Clark and says that she's going to shoot him and say that, you know, he's Superman and all that. And then when she shoots him, and then he just all of a sudden goes like this. And even though he has the glasses on, he looks like Superman. Like, when he puts the glasses on, he's dorky Clark Kent, is what Christopher Reeve is. And he's like, you know, low shoulders, and he's like, Lois, and like, you know, he's talking all like that. But when she shoots him, he goes like this, and like, just gets into the Superman pose. And even though he's got the glasses on, he looks like Superman. And when he takes those glasses off, I'm like, wow, he is transformed. That is amazing. That he was too good as Superman, Christopher Reeve was. So I don't really think anyone can top him. We'll see how David Cornsweet does, but that is something that I've not seen from any actor before. How they can just change like that. That was amazing. So I love Christopher Reeve's Superman, but we'll see how it goes with the others. Adam says, the original Superman is genuinely one of my favourite movies, even though there isn't any fight scenes. The atmosphere of the film was just so charming and Reeve is perfect. Yeah, so I really want to see it again. Maybe I'll do a reaction and you guys can watch my reaction, like I did with Moana, where I did the whole thing where I watched the movie, you know. Maybe I could do that. Would you guys be interested in that? Because of course it will be on Patreon, and I'll put my whole reaction on Patreon from beginning to end. So maybe I could do that if you guys will be interested to see. Because like I said, I've not seen that movie since I was like 5, 6, maybe even 7, but I only saw it once and I was so young. So yeah. Thoughts on Zod in Superman 2, says Adam Grunther. Yeah, I love Zod. I thought he was a great villain. I love how back in the old days they were able to do like a big scope, big action kind of movie with the limited resources they had at the time. And considering that they fired Richard Donner and brought a new director in, the movie still was surprisingly quite well done. I know it was midway they fired Donner, but I thought it was very well put together. So I really did love Zod in that movie as well. So yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was really great. Alright, so going back to this. Yes, so basically, let me get my notes back up. Yeah, so the trailer basically got 250 million views in its first 24 hours, and it had a million social media posts. And like I said, I saw it trending, which doesn't usually happen here in the UK as often as it happens in America, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of people were talking about this, and they really did like the original. But that's the time it came out. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Adam Grunther. It's alright. Trust me, I know what the movie is like. That's part of the charm to me. But yeah, so the trailer did phenomenally well. And he said something like I said, it had 250 million views in the first 24 hours. Now, I was like, well, what does that really like when you put it up against other trailers? And in terms of Inside Out 2, for example, Inside Out 2 had 167 million views on its trailer in the first 24 hours. So that is a lot of views, but somehow Superman beat it by almost another 100 million. So yeah, I think a lot of people looked at that and are interested, because a lot of people don't know that Superman really did blow a lot of, even directors nowadays that say superhero movies are not cinema, even they were blown away by Superman back in the day, you know, with the John Williams score. Even Steven Spielberg refers to it very well. People loved Christopher Reeve back in the time. So I feel like even those directors who say a lot of crap about superhero movies not being cinema, I feel like even they would have been like, let's look at this trailer, or, oh cool, look at that poster. I'm sure they must have felt the same way. So that's why I think a lot of these views have come in, because not only are newer generations watching it, but also older generations are very much interested in this movie. So I think that's why this has gotten so much, like, just so much viewership. So yeah, I really am looking forward to seeing this movie when it comes out. And I gotta say, it's the most, like you said, it's the most viewed trailer in DC history. But I would like to see how that number compares to, say, Matt Reeves' Batman. Because I did read recently that the Batman and Superman trailers are two of the most viewed DC trailers. But I haven't validated that. But Matt Reeves' Batman also rates very highly as well. Maybe it was because it was during the pandemic and everyone was inside, and when they heard it was a Batman trailer, they said, let's watch it. But yeah, everyone's into Batman, but I feel like everyone could be into Superman with this. And maybe it's just the hype of the trailer talking, but with all those rumors of David Zaslav wanting Matt Reeves' Batman to be, you know, put in the DCU, I don't know what's going to happen, if their hand will be forced or not, but if Robert Pattinson does join this Superman, maybe it's just the trailer right now. I've not seen the actual movie, but that does seem quite exciting now to see those two team up. But I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath for that. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But man, this is Batman and Superman having their own individual movies in separate universes. That's kind of like having Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve having their movies at the same time, side by side, releasing at the same time in different universes. If that's what happens between these two, that would be a lot of fun. Like, that just, even knowing they're not going to be in the same universe together, just knowing their movies are being made simultaneously in different universes, it's such a cool concept and idea to me. It's a really cool, it's a really good feeling. It's like, I was going to give a video game analogy, but I don't know if that will really connect with you guys if I gave that, because you'd have to have been born at the time or just really been, you know, into it. But it's like when the DS and the PSP came out, and you get to see both of them release like games and stuff, and they were both like really at their peak, and they were both beloved, and they were both so well known. It was really cool to see how different the two were, and they both played to their own strengths. And just being alive to witness that was simultaneously was so cool. That's kind of how I feel about Batman and Superman in a way. It's kind of like, so there's something really nostalgic about it, and something really cool about it. So yeah, I am very excited to see what they do with this Superman movie. And I'm also really excited to see Matt Reeves, see what he does with the Batman Part 2, and just see these heroes coexist. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. And also, believe it or not, you guys probably won't believe it, but do you know that Zack Snyder also had something to say about this Superman movie? I'll show you. Here is a post right here, and I'll read this post out to you. Zack Snyder actually said this on Vero, or Zero, I think that's the platform he's on, and he says, "There's literally no reason to restore my universe now, like, there's too much source here." And you can see that even Zack Snyder is basically saying that, yeah, like, even though he didn't get to make his, he's like, he's seen the trailer, he's like, wow, this looks really, really good. So I wonder, will the SnyderVerse people say that it's, will the SnyderVerse people drop it now, or will they say no? Accelerator says, surprised to see Zack agree, not gonna lie. Spirit Hero says, I saw that on Instagram. Let's see, sorry, buddy, I'll read your super chat, give me a second. Is AI starting to inbreeding? Screw the toxic Snyder fans. Spirit Hero says, I saw that on your Instagram. Charlton says, I've already been seeing Snyder fans on Instagram. They won't stop complaining. You know, Batman235 says, you know, David Ayer got death threats from Snyder fans for liking the new Superman trailer. Yeah, I know, which was ridiculous. They really are becoming a cult now. Before, I used to have some support for them, but as time went on, they started becoming really toxic. Okay, guys, what if I told you that this right here... This... What if I told you that this was bullshit? Like, I actually believed this. Turns out, this is bullshit. This is not true. Don't fall for it. I actually thought, wow, good on Snyder. But it turns out it's not. This is just a fake post. I went to go look at his Vero account. Turns out it's not real. This is just something that someone else did. I think it was just to tease the SnyderVerse people, or just to make a new meme. Yeah, it's not real. It's not real. So I'm sorry if I tried to make you guys think it was real too. Big Bash is like, that was fake, and it's like, yeah, Big Bash, it is fake. It looks like something that would be put out there, but no, it's not from Zack Snyder. Dark Lord is like, wow. Who thought that this was actually real? Did I get all of you? Did you all see it coming or not? I Hate Anime says, I wanted it to be real. Cole says, me, meaning that I fooled him. Drake says, people getting death threats for liking the Superman trailer? Wow, those people need to calm down. Yeah. Big Bash like, that's diabolical. Yeah. Goat is like, you got me. You got me. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You guys know I like to have fun with you sometimes. Just be glad I didn't whip out that How to Train Your Dragon image that scared the crap out of all of you. I wish it was real. Big Bash is like, well played. Alright then, Jess did a super chat, and now I'm going to answer it. Let me write it down, as always, and then I'll continue. Jess says, I always loved Superman as a light-hearted character, and now he is back, and will put Henry Cavill to shame. If The Rock takes over DC, it will be like the WWE. Yeah, the whole thing of The Rock Dwayne Johnson trying to take over the DC universe and act like, what bullshit catchphrase was he trying to make? The whole thing about the hierarchy of power in the DCEU is about to change. When he kept saying that, and he's acting like he had something amazing ready, which is going to prove why the hierarchy of power is going to change. And then in the end, we just watched Black Adam. Like, he thought he could win DC over with that piece of shit. Now, I'm calling it a piece of shit because I thought it was generic. Now, look, I enjoyed the movie when it came out. And there is dumb fun to enjoy from it. But the fact that he thought that was enough to basically say, here's my resume, let me take over the DC universe with this, I thought was just so freaking stupid. And then when he tried to basically cheat with his numbers, his box office numbers, and then he also went on Kevin Hart's talk show, whatever, and was acting like, yeah, that it's like you win and you score a touchdown and then you're just, another captain comes and says, I don't want you. It's like, no, your movie flopped, it tanked, it bombed, it lost shit tons of money. You were laughed out the door because that's how much you sucked in the end in terms of your box office performance. So yeah, he screwed up. Yeah, he screwed up really, really badly. And then he was acting like, oh, he was going to take over DC with that. It was ridiculous. It really, really was. So yeah, Dwayne Johnson, he lost a lot of respect from a lot of people when that happened. And he was lying by saying that people were all saying, we want to see Black Adam fight Superman. It's like, no, you wanted to see Black Adam fight Superman. And you wanted to see all the Justice League and Suicide Squad try to fight Black Adam and lose. It was just an ego trip for him. He just wanted to basically say that he is so tough that Aquaman can't beat me, Superman can't beat me, Batman can't beat me, the Suicide Squad can't beat me, no one can beat me. And that stupid line about Superman saying it's been a Black Adam, it's been a while since the world has been this nervous. I'm like, how and why? It was ridiculous. He embarrassed himself. He really did with that. Alright, Iron Warrior has done a £3.98 super Streamlabs chat. Thank you very much for that, buddy. He says, Hey Eric, what are your thoughts on the Dune movies? Also, I'm surprised that Moana 2 made a lot of money, and more than the first movie, considering how many people were saying that it was mid. Also, who is the villain in the Superman movie? Okay, so, what are my thoughts on the Dune movies? I've only seen the first one. I'm going to see the second one before this year closes out, because I got to make my top 5 best and worst movies list, and I said I would see it by the end of the year. I've just got a lot of videos to work on right now. I've also... yeah, so I will be watching that. I'll get back to you on that. And in terms of Moana 2, you say, also I'm surprised that Moana 2 made a lot of money, and more than the first movie, considering how many people were saying that it was mid. Yeah, I think it was, I don't know why, but families seem to really always go again and again to these movies, and I really don't get it. Especially nowadays, where they can just wait for streaming. I don't see why. Maybe they have a lot of spare time and they just want to go see a movie on Christmas or something, and then they go to watch the movie again because their kids pick it or something, or it's a good family movie to go to. I don't know. Whatever the reason, they go, and yes, it's made money. But once Sonic 3 releases internationally, you will see Moana's box office numbers will just plummet. They will really just go down. They'll free fall down in my mind. So I think it's a question as to whether the movie will even make $1 billion. Although I've not had a look at how much its box office is right now. Just bear with me. What's Moana's box office numbers now? $790 million, so it's almost at $800 million. I think it will probably stop before $1 billion, if I'm a betting man. But that's only really because Sonic 3 is coming out that I think that. But we'll have to see. But the movie is getting close to $1 billion. So yeah, Disney have already made their money on it. And they're going to get a lot of rewatch from it, I think, on Disney Plus when it comes out. Because the first Moana is one of the most viewed stuff on Disney Plus as it is. So it wouldn't surprise me if Moana 2 started being one of the most viewed as well. Even though it's got pretty much crappy songs in it compared to the first movie. So we'll have to see. I've not missed the one from Kevin Feige. I've got it right here. That's why I say donate through Streamlabs, because I've got a separate list for Streamlab donations, and I've got your messages right here. I don't even have to scroll through the chat. Kevin Feige says, "Hello Eric, as your punishment for pranking us all with that Zack Snyder post, old Kevin Feige over here is paying you a visit now. And as for the How to Train Your Dragon, I am immune to the disgust of that image, so do your worst." Well, guys, Kevin Feige here is telling me to do my worst. Do you want me to bring that How to Train Your Dragon image out again? Do you wanna? I dare you guys. The Dark Lord is like, no. Big Bash is like, yes. Dark Lord is like, no, please. The G-Gamer is yes. Khan is like, yeah, do it. The GOAT is like, yes. Ethan's drawing's like, no, and it's crying. Tell him that one joke. Some are saying, yeah. Dark Lord is still saying no. Ethan's drawing's like, yes. I think Ethan's drawing has not seen it, has he? He can't keep getting away with it. What's the How to Train Your Dragon image says good times? I'm glad you asked. To train your dragon. Gotta find it. Eric frozen. No, Eric is just static. He does that sometimes. Let me see here. How to train your dragon. What? Looks like I gotta find it. I'm sorry, guys. My secret weapon has been lost under a bunch of files. I gotta find it. $5 super chat from Kevin, who says, good films I hate. Breakfast Club, Big Lebowski, Psycho, Tropic Thunder, Watchmen, Inglourious Bastards, Toy Story 3, Social Network, Star Wars 7, and Homecoming. Star Wars 7 is not a beloved movie, a good film. Anymore, at least. Yours, Merry Christmas. Good films that I hate. Well, Cars, I think that's the number one movie that I really can't stand. So I'd say Cars is the one that I really don't like. You guys know I don't like Cars. So yeah, Cars, I did not really like Inside Out 2 all that much, but I didn't think it was bad, or I didn't hate it. You guys know I don't like all those live-action Disney remakes that people like, so I'd say those are pretty much the ones. Khan says, Lightning McQueen will find you, Eric. Also, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like Toy Story 4. I only seen it once, and I never felt the need to watch it again, and it felt completely pointless and ruined the great ending of Toy Story 3. Will there be a stream on December 31st? We'll see. Every week I try to do a stream. Dwayne Johnson is now in the chat. Yo, Eric. Yeah, yo, piss off. Dwayne Johnson. My universe is going to rule, says Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. Dwayne Johnson's had a lot of flops recently. So it doesn't seem like he's going to really rule anything, Dwayne Johnson. So yeah, basically, guys, this trailer did a phenomenal job. Now, where is that window? Oh, there you are. That trailer did a phenomenal job. And yeah, it means that the hype for this movie could be quite high. I think a lot of people will want to see it in theaters as well, so we'll see how well it does. I hope it does incredibly well, and I hope people really enjoy it, and they come out to see it, because this has to be a great movie, and I hope James Gunn doesn't mess it up. I really hope he doesn't mess it up. The Time Shadow, you say a lot of people don't like the live-action Disney remakes, but I remember when I used to do Versus videos of them, there were a lot of people that agreed with me, but there were a lot of people that also were really mad at me for crap talking them, because people really liked them. And if you look at the box office numbers at the time, if you look at the reviews at the time, there were a lot of people that did like them, and I did not get it. I was like, how could you like it? It's completely heartless and devoid of what made the original so popular and so great. So yeah, I never was a fan of them, to be perfectly honest with you. And yeah, now people are saying they're not fans, but at the time there were a lot of people that liked them, and I never understood why. Batman235 says, also, James Gunn said that his Superman will have a different tone compared to his other movies, he said. He said it's both dark relative. Let's hope so, because it's also got comedy in there, and he did say something about Crypto being, you know, like a dog, like, just, you know, I can't remember how he said it, but he ultimately said that, you know, he's a dog who's, you know, just gets excited and runs around, doesn't always listen. So that means there could be a lot of silly, slapsticky comedy. And I hope he does it well, if he does it. But yeah, that could be a potential problem. We'll have to wait and see with that one. Drake Holly says, hey man, Eric, it's your opinion. I respect your opinion. So long live King Eric. Oh, thank you, Drake. I appreciate that. Eric, what's your thoughts on Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor? I liked him. If you watch my trailer reaction, I go into extreme detail about everything in that trailer. But very briefly, I liked the way he looked. I like how we see the aesthetic of him when he turns around when Superman flies by Lex Luthor Corp. It was really cool. I really did like it. And if you've watched Smallville, Luthor Corp was really cool. It was always what Lex Luthor's building was always called. And it's great to see him use the Smallville Luthor Corp thing in the new movie. That's really cool. I like that. Come missing... Dwayne Johnson says, come missing pass with The Rock. How about you... just go piss in another bottle. Anywho, do you like the actress for Lois? Yes, I always liked the actress for Lois. I always thought she looked like the classic Lois. She looked like Margot Kidder, or like a version of Margot Kidder, that kind of Lois Lane. So yeah, she looks just like her, and I like what James Gunn made her wear, because in one of the set photos where we were seeing the set photos, she was wearing like a purple kind of like blazer, or not blazer, it was a purple kind of shirt or jumper or something, which is exactly what the animated Lois wears in Superman the Animated Series. So I was really happy to see that he was picking from the animated series too, not just the classic Reeves movie, but the animated series, which I grew up watching. So yeah, that was cool. Nate says, "Hey Eric, glad I can make it. When will you release Moana vs Moana 2, and when will be your next versus video?" Um, I'm going to work on. I'm working on my Moana video. In fact, I just finished editing the footage of putting Moana's 2's footage in the versus video yesterday. Yeah, last night. I slept very late. And now what I got to do is the intro. I've got to animate the posters. I've got to put all the music in. I've got to then put in additional edited imagery, some jokes I've done. Between you and me, there's actually a bit of that Homelander joke in there again, where he's just staring at the screen and everything. I do that. A couple of other jokes. And yeah, there's some other cool edits and things that I do. So that's going to take a bit of time to edit. But I'm going to try... Don't quote me on this, but I'm going to try to get that video out by the end of this month. As always, if you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, you'll get early access to the Versus video. So keep that in mind as well. Alright, guys. I'm super excited for Superman. Cannot wait to see it. And now it's time for the Q&A. Unless you guys have anything else to say. Do you have anything else to say about Superman? Any questions? Pick Up Hollywood now knows that the Pebble is trash. Superman or Fantastic Four, first step. Which movie are you more excited about? Superman. Superman. It's made by a director who knows what he's doing. It's a start to a brand new universe. It's not got any BS gender swapping or anything, which is what they've done with the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie. The casting all makes sense in Superman, whereas the casting we all looked at for Fantastic Four and people were like, really? Those are the casts that you're going with? Except for Johnny Storm. You're going for Pedro Pascal? Seriously? There's a lot of question marks there. Plus, they started shooting that movie in July of this year, and they're going to release the movie in July of next year, so only a year. So that means that the VFX artists are not going to be given enough time to do the effects. Meanwhile, James Gunn, he started shooting the movie, I think, in like the first few months of 2024, and the movie's coming out in July of next year, so he basically gave his VFX artists a year and a half to work on the effects. Marvel, on the other hand, are going to give them, like, less than a year. And on top of that, we all know Marvel can't... They just love their reshoots, so they're most likely going to do reshoots and then give the VFX artists new shots to work on. And then they're going to dump... Then they're going to just dump the previous shots that they've been working on for months and tell them, here, you got 2 weeks, work on these new shots that we've done. So the VFX are not going to be as good with Fantastic Four, whereas the VFX so far look really solid with Superman. And for characters like these are like big superhero characters, you need great effects. And I don't think Marvel will pull it off. But James Gunn, I think he will. It looks really cool so far. I haven't seen Superman and Lois Batman 235. I did see that Tyler Hoechlin Superman in the CW universe when I was watching it at the time, but they really just made him... They made him a crap Superman because he kept getting his ass kicked in every single episode. So, yeah. Okay, any guys got any other questions? Yeah, good times. A Mario and Sonic movie would be cool if they could pull that off. Superman and Lois is amazing. Highly recommend. I just don't like the CW-isms of it. And I hate his suit. It looks so cheaply padded, like cosplay. Like, they really pad out those muscles. It's laughable. But I do hear people like it, but I don't want to watch it personally. I'm done with the CW and their CW-isms. And apparently his kids have a lot of CW-isms added to them, and I don't want to bother with that. I'm done with that now. Iron Warrior, thank you very much, has done another £3.98 Streamlabs chat. And he says, hey Eric, would you like a Penguin Season 2, or you think it's fine where it is? Also, I hope Batman treats the Penguin like the thug at the beginning of the Batman movie. Lol. Like, me too, buddy. I hope he beats the crap out of him like that as well. Also, have you heard who the main villain of Superman movie is? Okay, apologies for not answering that question. I completely forgot about it. Penguin Season 2, if they got a good story, yes, I would like it. But I think that I would want to see Batman in there now if Penguin's doing more stuff. I don't want it to be just a Penguin season. But if they find a way to do it, then great. In terms of the villain, yes, I heard the villain. What was the villain's name? They showed him in the trailer. I forgot his name, though. What was his name? Was it Ultraman? What was it? Was it Ultraman? What was the name of the villain in Superman? I'm sure one of you guys know who it is. Lex Luthor, yeah, Adam Grunter. Lex Luthor is definitely one of them. But there's another villain that they showed in there. The one who's probably beating the crap out of Superman, which is why he was bleeding at the beginning of the trailer. It was some kind of Ultraman or something, I think, that was beating Superman. But yeah, Lex Luthor is also the villain in there as well. And there are rumors that he might be in his Lex Luthor suit. We'll have to see. But yes, it seems like there are multiple villains in there. That's the one thing that I would say about James Gunn's the trailer in there. There's a lot of characters, and I hope he can balance it, and I hope Superman gets the time. I want the movie to still feel predominantly like a Superman movie. I don't want these other characters to come in and, you know, make it feel like some kind of ensemble movie. But yeah, that's who I think the villains will be. I think it was Ultraman and Lex Luthor. And then there's other characters in there too, but we'll see how it goes. Brandon, I've not seen the Karate Kid Legends trailer because it's stupid to release the trailer right now because that movie takes place after Cobra Kai wraps up. And we still haven't seen the final 5 episodes of Cobra Kai, so it was stupid for Sony to release that trailer, the bloody idiots. They did this the last time. They did this with Spider-Man Far From Home. Do you remember? Before Endgame even came out. The last we saw of Spider-Man, he was snapped away by Thanos. But then we see Far From Home, the trailer for that. This is what Sony have done before. They're doing it again with the Karate Kid trailer. So no, I'm not watching that trailer until I've seen the final episodes of Cobra Kai, which are coming out this February. Adam says there's a theory that it might be Bizarro since there's a shot of Superman with the S on his chest backwards, along with the curl in his hair being the other way. Ooh, cool. Where's the shot? Is the shot in the trailer, or is it in some promotional image? You know, the reverse shot. Where is that? I'm curious. It's in the trailer. Okay, that will be interesting. I think it'll be a bit early for a Bizarro, though, because don't you want a Bizarro to be in there after we've seen properly the relationship between Superman and the world? You know, once they love him, then you see them hate him when they see this evil version of him. It's where he's injured, but not the one where he's in the snow. Where else was he injured in that trailer? He was covered in like burn marks, which is from most likely from that dragon that he was fighting, that kaiju. I thought that was Superman fighting him. I don't know. Bizarro could be cool, but that sounds like it could be packed again, that does. Ted says, hey Eric, can you please answer my question? Will you do a versus video of all 3 Sonic movies? We'll see, because I've done like 2 versus videos of the first Sonic. I don't want to do another one, but we'll see. I might do Sonic 2 versus Sonic 3. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's my idea going in. Adam says, that could be why you see the crowd angry at him in a scene. Or it could just be that they hate Superman because he's doing something the way that he thinks is right, but others don't think it's right. That's why even the Justice Society seem a bit, like, mad at him. Like, when he's got his arms over the table and that Green Lantern, you know, Guy Gardner comes in and points his ring out. It seems like Superman did something that people didn't like. And the other heroes, they didn't like it either. Because apparently the movie's going to be about a threat happening. And Superman thinking they should handle it one way. And then the Justice Society thinking they should handle it another way. That's the conflict. So I think that's what it's got to do. Adam says, Ultraman feels like he'd be a weird choice to be in this. He's supposed to be a villain from another Earth. Feels like he should be way later. Yeah, he probably should be. It does feel like, I really hope James Gunn doesn't pack this, because like I said, it does. A lot of people have said this, and it is a concern I'm thinking of too. There seems to be a lot of stuff going on in this. Andrew Edit says, just like the Batman. Yes, except the Batman, I feel like, managed to balance a lot of it. And they even left stuff open for future stuff, like the Penguin show. And, you know, the Maronis for the Penguin show and everything, and more of the Falcons for the Penguin show. So stuff there felt like there was a, you know, felt like it was too much. But we'll see what happens, though, closer to the time. But the Batman, I feel like, balanced it better. No, Adam, I've not seen Creature Commandos yet. I've been just so busy. But don't worry, I do want to see it. and I will try to cover it in various ways. So definitely stay tuned. I'll definitely try to do that. I can't find it. I have to look for it. It's buried under so many files. Brandon says, "What do you think of the Crypto the Superdog being in Superman?" I really like it. I like the way they showed him. It was quite sad when Superman said to him, "Home, take me home." But I hope they use him in that manner, Crypto. I hope they don't just make him a comic relief dog. That would just be too distracting, I think. I Hate Anime says it just past midnight. Yeah, for just past midnight for me too, bud. Do you like the Superman motion picture theme or the trailer theme? I like both themes. I think they're both really good. Is Superman 2 your favourite Superman movie? I know the bar isn't high, lol. Yeah, you're right about that. But the animated movies are really good. Batman, Superman, World's Finest was a great movie. Based on the animated series, it was an animated movie. And then they also had Superman Public Enemies, which I really enjoyed. Superman vs. the Elite was really cool. There's a lot of cool Superman stuff out there. But I would say it's my favourite live-action movie, but if it was my favourite movie, probably not. I did love Public Enemies. But I also loved The World's Finest as well, which had Lex Luthor and Joker in there, Harley and Mercy, Batman and Superman, Lex and Joker. Such a great film. That was so good. No, I've not seen Wicked, Iron Warrior. Too many movies to watch. Did you watch Justice League War? I did. Eric Grimmett says, Eric, do you like the Superman suit? It still has the same problems that I saw before. At a distance, I like the suit. At a distance. But when you're close up to the suit, it has too much of those lines over it. It still looks less like a super suit. And like I said, it looks like the Guardians of the Galaxy jackets that they wear. It looks more like that. They need to make it look more special. And those lines are just way too much stuff on it. They need to make it a bit simpler looking, but I think they made it look a bit too much is going on. We'll see what it looks like in the final movie, but I love how it looks at a distance. But when you get closer to it, that's where you start to see the choices that they made. And I think they could have made better choices, if I was being honest with you. Jess says, "Hey Eric, don't hate on the suit. Would you rather praise Henry Cavill's dark suit and let him be careless?" No, Henry Cavill's regular Superman suit I think looked better. Personally, it got the better idea down as to how to make a classic looking Superman suit that was also updated. They just needed to color it more was the only thing, because the movie would suck a lot of the color out. But I still like this suit. Like, look in the poster, it looks great. Like I said, at a distance it looks great, but close up it is where the problems are. Adam says, "So what are your thoughts on John Williams' Superman theme being kept as the theme for Superman? Would you prefer a newer theme?" I prefer them to have a combination of both. But yes, I do think the original theme, it kind of is the definitive Superman theme. We've seen various different Batman themes that have come out, but I would like at the same time for them to do a new Superman theme, like we saw with Nolan's Batman theme. We also got Snyder's Batman theme. We also got Matt Reeves' Batman theme. For Superman, it's like they just want to keep sticking to the John Williams theme. So I am happy that they're using it, but they're changing it as well. But I'm also a bit, like, disappointed they're not making another theme out of it. We got a new Superman theme from Hans Zimmer, which was great. But they need to do another one, I think. But I don't mind them having a combination of both. But I don't know. I think it would ultimately be better if they did just have a newer theme. A brand new theme. Adam Grunther says, "I preferred a newer theme at first, but then somebody compared it to like the main James Bond theme or the main Star Wars theme. It's so iconic that maybe it's best to keep it." I agree. But if that was the case, then look at what would have happened with Nolan's Batman or with Matt Reeves' Batman. We wouldn't get those incredible themes that fit those Batmans so well. So with Superman, I feel like as great as the theme is, I feel like we should be able to try to experiment with more. But, you know, it's like they're too scared to venture off, is what it seems like, to see what those themes could be. Batman says, Batman235 says, "Thoughts on the color grading of Superman, because people keep complaining about it." I like the color grading of it. I think it does look a little bit too home movie-ish sometimes. The movie does look a lot like the Flash film, and I liked the look of the Flash film. But it also has got its own unique flair to it as well, I think. So I think there's like some kind of mixture right there. But I like the way it looks. Khan, I've not forgotten to change the back. This is still the Superman segment. We're answering questions about Superman. So when I get to the Q&A, then it will open to all kinds of questions. But right now we're still focusing on Superman questions, and people seem to have a lot to ask about Superman. Drake says, it's surprising how Eric ignores Kevin's rants. Yeah, I'd say that's good advice for life, really. Just avoid his rants. Let him do what he does and screw up his universe. Meanwhile, we'll watch other universes like Superman right here. This new universe that is starting up looks really promising. Yeah, no shit, Batman 235. I know it ain't the real Kevin Feige. You know, let's see. It's surprising. No, is this Superman rated R? Of course not. I hate anime. It's gonna be PG-13. It'll be PG-13 for sure. Adam Grunther. One theory I really love that someone told me that the brief theme that was released with the poster is a tune from Clark's mother. Is a tune that Clark's mother hums to him right before she sends him in the pod to Earth. That's interesting. I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah, that is kind of interesting the more I think about it. Yeah. I was just thinking of it as just a different take on the theme, you know, different instruments and stuff. That's how I thought, what I thought it was. But that would be fascinating if they did that. But it would also be too much on the nose at the same time, I think. Grimace says, do you think David Corenswet will be a better Superman than Henry Cavill? Yes, only because Henry Cavill never got to play the real Superman. So if Henry Cavill got to play the real Superman as he's supposed to be, then it would be harder to say. But we never really got to see him do that, and that was never Henry Cavill's fault. It was always the fault of the writing, because they never gave him the chance to be that Superman. But I'm kind of glad that he's gone, because that was just too painful to think about. They just did so much wrong turns with that it was really weighing on your shoulders. Like, am I going to have to remember all the crap he takes when we watch the newer one that Henry Cavill does? So now that he's kind of gone and we can start from scratch, it feels like there's this weight lifted off our shoulders. Adam Grunther says, so who are you hoping ends up as the overarching big bad of the DCU? Darkseid, eventually. I hope it will be Darkseid. I think that would be cool. That's the big bad that we all know from DC, so that will be the one I would like to see them fight. Brandon Tran says, do you think Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, might be antagonist Superman will fight? I don't think he'll be the antagonist, but I think there'll be a tad bit of a civil war there between them. They might fight, they might not. I think they would be stupid to try to fight against Superman, but I think they will be at odds. You know, verbally they'll be at odds. Jess says, Ray Porter better come back as Darkseid. It doesn't matter who they get to be Darkseid, you just need a deep growly voice, and I'm sure they'll find a lot of good people to do it. Khan says, hey Eric, ever thought about making a playlist of all the live streams? I haven't, until you mentioned it. We'll see. I guess I could do that, couldn't I? That's a lot to do, though. But yeah, I guess I could do it. Adam Grunther says, I'm hoping it's Brainiac. He's always been the villain I've wanted to see the most. Plus, in some instances, he's the one who destroys Krypton. He'd be a good threat. Yeah, he's destroyed Krypton a lot. In the animated series, he did it. I don't know if they hinted that he was doing it in Man of Steel, or was that just some natural disaster there? But yeah, he has done that several times, yeah. Kevin Feige says, I'll donate $100 if you say that the Lion King remake is the best film ever made. Donate it, then I'll say it. Put your money where your mouth is, Kevin. Superman says, hello fellas, my name is Superman. Yeah, sure it is. Are you excited to see Crypto in the movie, says Garrett. I'm not excited, but I'm curious. But I'm also a little afraid, because I feel like that's where James Gunn can do a lot of comedy. And James Gunn did say that he's going to be doing more comedy. No, he didn't say he's going to do more comedy. He said that the stuff he hinted at with Crypto sounded like he was... It sounded like Crypto was going to have some of the comedy come from... It sounded like he was going to bring some of the comedy in through Crypto, is what it sounded like. So I bet you Crypto's going to be a bit more of a jokester. Or going to be bringing in some of the humor. Like, he's going to be destroying parts of the city because, you know, he's like just an animal. Stuff like that. Any thoughts on the new Superman logo, Eric? Says Justice League Film Natic. Yeah, I really like it. I like it the more I see it. Adam says, would you be open to having Ace in a Batman movie now that we're getting Crypto? Not really. Ace is something that more of an older Bruce Wayne would have, not a Bruce Wayne at the ages that we're seeing him right now. When he's much older, like Batman Beyond Bruce, then yes, then I'd want him to have Ace. What is Crypto's origin story? I don't know, Big Bash. I've seen him in some places, but not many. But I do know who Crypto is, so that's why I was kind of happy to see him. But a bit concerned when I knew James Gunn was going to do him, because I was like, how are we going to... What angle are you going to take here, James? That's what I was wondering. Did you know that the Superman symbol is inspired by the Kingdom Come comics? Yes, I was aware of that. I was aware of that ever since we saw the Superman logo. Even before we saw the Superman logo, it was saying that it was going to be inspired by Kingdom Come, so yeah. Dave Bautista would actually be a really good Darkseid. Yeah, but he's gone skinned down now, hasn't he? So now he would be more like a good Dr. Hugo Strange, I think. Eric Man versus the entirety of the MCU, says Khan. Did you know that the Superman symbol is inspired by... I've already read that. Oops. Do you know who is the kaiju in the trailer? I don't know. I don't know if it's taken from the comics or if it's just a creature that he made for the movie. I don't know what it is. We'll have to see. Jess says, Dwayne Johnson will be awesome as Darkseid. Do you agree, Eric? No, I don't. Keep him away. He also screwed... It was because of him that Shazam got screwed. What a big freaking ego that the Dwayne Johnson had, that he screwed up Shazam. I remember back in the day that Shazam was supposed to have Black Adam in the first movie, but then they thought about giving Black Adam his own movie to set him up, so then he could be in Shazam 2. But then we all know, as Zachary Levi said, it never ended up happening, because Dwayne Johnson and his big ego wanted to fight Superman. He didn't want to be fighting Shazam. He didn't want the Justice Society to even be in the credit scene of Shazam 2, because he wanted to keep it away from that. Even though the whole freaking point of Black Adam is that he goes up against Shazam. Batman has Joker, Superman has Lex Luthor, Shazam has Black Adam. And Dwayne Johnson effed that up, he did. Because of his big fat ego. Well, now he's effed off, so... Yeah, he's effed off and so is that big ego of his. Goat says, The Rock is a good actor, but he is too delusional. He's not even a good actor. I thought he was a good actor with Fast and Furious 5. When you watch Fast 5, he's a very good actor in there. And he was even, I'd say, a good actor in some of his earlier movies, but as it went on, he's just become The Rock. And he's playing that in every single movie he's in. Oh, really? Charlton says a YouTuber called Dr. Flashpoint made a fan-made trailer of Shazam 2 with Black Adam. It makes you feel disappointed at what we missed. Did he? Let me just write that down. Dr. Flashpoint. Because I'd like to see that. Dr. Flashpoint, Shazam and Black Adam. I see it. Shazam, Superman versus Black Adam trailer. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I'll give that a watch some other time. And let me see, how long was that? It was 2.1 million views, and 1 year ago, 2 minutes 36 seconds. Okay, I'll give that a watch at some point. Adam says, outside of the main Trinity, who do you want as the other members of the main Justice League? Basically, the Justice League animated series, I want all of them. So yeah, outside of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, of course, I want Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, Jon Stewart as Green Lantern, The Flash, and I'll be happy. The Trinity and them, I'll be happy. Indiana Jones doesn't deserve to have an adventure story. He needs to lose everything in life, says Kathleen Kennedy. Wow. She said that behind the scenes, but she wouldn't say that in public. I'm sure that's what she would say behind the scenes. She did about Luke Skywalker. Anyway. Adam, he says, Jesus, these spam accounts pretending to be real people and fictional are getting tiresome. Adam, you've probably not been here for quite a few of the streams, but yeah, people have done this a lot. This is not the first time. I've just kind of learned to accept it at this point. One of the streams, they were going insane. People were donating as all these other people, and then they started donating as other people in the chat. And I didn't even know who to thank for the donation. It got insane. Jess says, Superman rules, Madam Web drools, I feel sorry for you, Isabella. He's learnt to accept us, people. high respect to Eric. Yeah, I have just learned to accept it at this point. And I don't even have that gross How to Train Your Dragon image to scare you right now either. Hey Eric, remember Morbius where? Yes, I do. That was funny. Eric, tell everyone about why IGN sucks nowadays, says Jess. They've sucked a long time ago. Just because they give bad reviews to Penguin, but then good reviews to Agatha, and bad reviews to Sonic, but good reviews to Mufasa, that's not new. We knew they've always sucked when it comes to those scores, and yeah, they still suck now as well. Big Bass says, remember when you used the toothless picture to get back at us? Yes, I did, and I'm annoyed that I can't find it. How much money does Disney pay IGN? I don't think it's that. I just think IGN suck. There was a time, though, where probably they did. Maybe. Or maybe they were not paying them with money, but maybe they were paying them by saying, look, we'll give you a bunch of behind-the-scenes access and exclusive information. Maybe that's what they were paying them with. Adam Grunther says, which Justice League member should be introduced last before the Justice League movie in the DCU? I would like to hope that they were introduced way in advance, personally. I wouldn't want them to be introduced in the last movie unless there's a specific story reason for it. So I would say none. I wish they were all introduced way ahead of time. And they already had great interactions with each other and everything. IGN only praises them because they're Disney. Well, I'm sure they've given bad reviews to Disney as well, but yeah. Batman235 says, you know they use drones for the action and flying sequences for Superman inspired by Top Gun Maverick. Yes, I'm aware. I've heard of that. I will destroy Fantastic Four and his name Reed Richardo, says Superman. Okay, good luck with that. The Dark Lord says, I hope you appreciate, Kal-El, that everything that happens from this point is on your head. The skies will rain fire, the oceans will boil, the streets will run red with the blood of billions. That's a line from Darkseid. That's a badass line. Who do you think should play Mad Hatter if he's introduced in the Batman 2? I don't know. I think they should get someone new who can really put on, like, the creepy, performance. But Mad Hatter is a very dark character. He's a pedo, isn't he, in the comics? So you got to be very careful with them there. They got to be very tasteful with how they do that. Even in an R-rated setting, because there's nothing fun about that, so they got to do it well. Maybe just say he kidnaps kids, not for those reasons, but he just kidnaps them because, there are sick people that do that. They're not talking about from Alice in Wonderland. I thought they were talking about from Batman's character, the Batman villain. That looked so real. I think the animated series had Mad Hatter as a pet. Did it? The animated series? I don't remember that. Deadwolf says, The Rock tried to make the Black Adam cinematic universe but failed. Yeah, he sure did. And I'm glad he failed as well. Oh god, Red 1 is another movie I gotta watch before this year ends out. Oh, he's about the live action Mad Hatter from... Okay, I didn't even know that's what he was talking about. Superman, anyway, have a great days, guys. Also, keep up the good work, Eric. You are the real one. Thank you, Superman. Captain Eric kills the Disney Cinematic Universe. That would be a film that I would pay to see. Red 1 is ass. Don't watch it, Eric, says Big Bash. Yeah, I'll try to watch it, just... I don't know, that's part of the not-so-fun stuff in your job, is that you have to watch stuff like that. Oh, boy. I know it's on Amazon Prime. I hate anime. I've got Amazon Prime. I logged into it one day and I was like, wow, that was fast. Red 1 is already on Amazon Prime. So yeah, I'll give it a watch at some point. We'll do the stream for about 15 more minutes, guys, and then we'll call it a day. So if you have any questions or that you want to get to me and make sure I read, then, you know, make sure you get them in there. And if you want to definitely make sure I get them, make sure you do it through Streamlabs or Super Chat, and I'll definitely see your question as soon as you post it. And of course, it also helps the channel as well. Adam Grunther says, who is your favorite Lex Luthor outside of Rosenbaum? Time Shadow, yes, we are in the Q&A. Let's do it right here. Okay, so who is my favorite Lex Luthor outside of Rosenbaum? Lex Luthor from the animated series. Deadwolf says, Eric, watch Peppa Pig. It's the best anime of all time. Adam Grunther says, I'll say that the Lex we saw in Superman and Lois was fantastic. He was a genuinely dark and intimidating version. That's interesting. Didn't we see that Lex, though? We saw him in that crossover when the CW characters went and they saw Clark Kent from Smallville. And then that Lex Luthor showed up with a big book, remember? And that Smallville Clark punched him, and he says that he lost it, that he got rid of his powers, which was stupid because his character would never do that. But I thought we already saw that Lex. He wasn't very intimidating. Adam Grunther says that was a different Lex. It's a very different actor in Superman and Lois. Okay, I thought they were going to bring him back. Lord of the Eric. Clancy Brown. Yeah, Clancy Brown was great. Plus he plays Maroni in The Penguin. Eric, do you think Sonic 3 did push the PG rating? No, I don't think it did. I wish it would have pushed it harder, to be honest. That's what I said. I said that they could have gone harder with Shadow's tragic backstory. I said they did well, but I wish they would have pushed that PG rating more. Because anytime they were dealing with the emotional stuff with Shadow, it was so good, but I wish they would have spent longer on it. Eric, I watched the first 5 episodes of the 2003 TMNT, and it is amazing so far, says Big Bash. I know, right? It's hilarious. The turtles are great, they're jokey, but they're also very serious. I loved that growing up. Seriously, I'm like, that to me is the definitive Turtles. And they were very much like that in the 2007 animated movie as well. So you can understand why I wasn't a fan of Mutant Mayhem. Because what they did, they butchered my boys. I was like, look what they did. Michael, oh boy, that's a lot of I's and L's. Adam, Adam Grunther says Michael Kudilitz, excuse me about that, plays him in Superman and Lois. He's genuinely amazing. His Lex does so many things in the show that are so messed up. Oh, cool. That's interesting. I don't know, though. The Superman Lois show always looked so CW to me, and I never liked his Superman costume. It looks so padded. Like, normally superhero costumes are always padded, but his looked so padded. Baldwin wasn't in Beetlejuice 2 due to rust incident, says Kevin. Yeah, he wasn't. And they gave a reason as to why him and his wife were not in the film. They found a loophole or something is all they said, and then that was it. We never heard of anything else about them again. Are you excited for any MCU project? The only one I'm most curious about is Daredevil, but I'm also the most concerned about it because they had to scrap all of it, start again from scratch, and they got those scripts very quickly. But also, apparently they're going to use a lot of the footage from the scrapped show as well, so I don't know what concoction we're going to get here. We're going to have to wait and see. And it's also not even the whole season, it's only going to be half of the season, or half of whatever story they're trying to tell. And then we're going to have to wait for part 2 in the next season that they do, which they haven't even started shooting yet. So I think they've really just kind of messed up on that already. Like, there's already bad signs on it. It's like, just release a good season of television where we don't have to wait for another season or something. But what they're doing is just ridiculous. Adam Grunther says, also, I think Superman changes suits in Season 3. Oh, okay, that's a good thing. Good Times has done a €2 donation. Thank you very much, bud. Let's see. I always have to write €2 usually. It's not as easy. I don't do it as often. €2 donation. What would make an epic Sonic and Mario movie? Well, I think what would make an epic movie is to bring in the Sonic villain and to bring in the Mario villain. So bring in Dr. Robotnik and also bring in um, Bowser. Bring in Dr. Robotnik and Bowser. Have them team up. Jim Carrey and Jack Black teaming up could be fun. And then also, what you're gonna want to do is have Sonic and Mario interact. Maybe bring in the other characters. Have the other characters interact as well, like Knuckles interact with Mario and Luigi as well, and have them maybe choreograph action sequences where the two are helping each other with their own powers. And maybe Sonic quickly grabs a mushroom and throws it over to Sonic, and they coordinate and team up and fight the bad guys, and they both go in to fight their own bad guys. Maybe they switch. Mario fights Robotnik, and then Sonic fights Bowser. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with a crossover like that. So that's what I think I would want. Jedge says, Eric, on the note of splitting seasons in half, did you see Invincible Season 3 trailer? I did, and they talked about it. I'm glad they acknowledged it, but seriously, I want them to go above and beyond to make it up for us, because they really they let me down a lot. What they did with that release strategy. Adam, seriously, you said my advice, just skip to season 3. Superman and Lois season 4 is like DC's Daredevil season 3. That's interesting. I never would have thought about that. You'd think they all would count and you'd have to see them. Adam Grunther also says, by the way, what did you think of Jim Carrey as Gerald Robotnik in Sonic 3? He was great. It was actually amazing. Donkey Kong and Knuckles feel like they could work well off of each other. Yeah, that also seems like it would be cool. There's a lot of stuff you can do with a Sonic and Mario crossover. Great question. That was good times, by the way. That was a really good question. Yeah, I love Gerald Robotnik in Sonic 3. He was so funny. And even though he's played by Jim Carrey, they both have a lot of chemistry with each other, as if they're actually there. And they constantly interact with each other. Like, he goes like this to Robotnik's head, his grandfather does, and it's like, wow, they're interacting with each other and like doing stuff like this and putting arms around each other. That takes a lot of work. It's not as simple as it looks, and they pull it off very well. You never question that they're on screen, that they're not really on screen at the same time. It just works. Goat. Eric, I forgot to ask, what is your opinion on Justice League War? In my opinion, is the best superhero animated movie of all time. Let me double check to make sure Justice League War is the movie I think it is, because I like Justice League Doom, but I don't think that's Justice League War. Oh yeah, I didn't like Justice League War. I thought it was alright. It was okay, but I didn't like the new takes on the characters. I thought Superman was a jerk. Wonder Woman was like Starfire, but even more childish. Starfire grew as the seasons went on, but I mean like early Starfire, where she didn't know a lot of things. They didn't do those well, I don't think. So yeah, I thought it was an okay movie. It was fun, but it was stupid as all heck, I thought, personally. If you enjoy it, that's great, and I can see why you would enjoy it. There is fun to be had, but for me, I thought it was too silly. And I didn't like the New 52 takes. A lot of people don't like the New 52 takes of these characters. Oh, Khan, I loved the Superman trailer. I did a full-on detailed trailer reaction of it on my Patreon and on YouTube members, so check it out there if you want to see my thoughts. I got the same trailer reaction on both Patreon and YouTube members, so you can check them out there. Eric, did you love or hate the Superman trailer? I've already answered that question, bud. How was your holiday, guys? Hello, everyone. Fireboy says, I'm sorry I'm late. Fireboy, I'm going to leave in about 5 minutes. So, yeah. What characters did you expect to get killed off in Joker 2, said Kevin. I didn't really think any characters would... Oh, I thought the guard was going to get killed. I thought one of the guard workers was going to get killed. I thought a lot of the people that he had crossed were going to get killed. But the way it happened, not so cool. None of them died in the end. Just a shame it's war by such a... Eric, Stranger Things Season 5 has finished filming. Can we do a story on that next week? There's not really nothing to really talk about. I mean, it finished filming. That's really about it. The only time you could really talk about something is when you see a trailer for something. And maybe then, on Patreon, I'll do a trailer reaction and we can talk about it then. But there's nothing really to make a story about, I think, bud. Fireboy says, I just want to say hello. Oh, that's no problem. Hello back to you. Eric, gotta go now. See you next week. Had a great stream talking about Sonic and Superman, says Dead Wolf. That's great, buddy. I had a great time as well. You had some very good questions, so thank you for submitting them. Adam Grunther says, who do you like more, Idris Elba as Knuckles or Keanu Reeves as Shadow? I'd say Idris Elba as Knuckles. One thing about Keanu Reeves is that his voice really was distracting. In the trailer, this didn't really happen. But in the movie, in the first half, I was always aware that that was Keanu Reeves. And that really took me out of the voice acting. It was like, I was so aware that it was him. In the last half of the movie, his voice really did fit the character a lot better. But in the first half, it sounded like too much like, you can tell, Keanu Reeves is in a microphone booth, and he's recording his dialogue, and they're overlaying it into this animated hedgehog. I could kind of like just see through the effect, basically. But in the last half, I did not see through the effect, and it blended together much better. But yeah, Keanu really needs to work on his line deliveries. I don't know what happened. From John Wick 4 onwards, his line delivery just became terrible. And yeah, he really needs to work on it. But he was very funny in that, though. But man, if he could have been Keanu back in the old, not even really the old days, but from John Wick 1, 2, and 3 days, I think he could have done a better vocal performance. I mean, he even did a great vocal performance in Toy Story 4, but I feel like he wouldn't be able to now. He's just lost it. What do you think, Adam? Who do you prefer? Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves as Shadow, or Idris Elba as Knuckles? What do you prefer? Big Bash says, Eric, who did you want to play Shadow instead of Keanu Reeves? I didn't really have any preference, really. I think Keanu Reeves is a great choice. He just needed to do better acting. Hey, Eric, the one thing I'll remember from 2024 is all of those funny memes I made about you, and it will be memories to relive. That's great. I'm glad you enjoy those memories, buddy. Maybe the ego got into Keanu Reeves' head like The Rock. No, he's just... Maybe something happened and he's gotten old, and maybe he's got a condition that we're not aware of. But man, does it feel like that acting switch has just turned off in his head. Keanu in his 60s. That could, like I said, that's probably the reason he is older. Saeed says, thank you for these streams in the past year. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Doing a stream a week, I didn't realize how tiring that would be. Like, I know some of you guys say, wow, a new stream already, like a week has gone by already. That's how I feel. Now I have to set the stream up. There's a lot of work that goes into setting up a stream. You guys probably don't realize it, but a lot of work goes into it, and yeah, it takes a lot of work and tires you out. Adam Grunther says, I love both, but I have to say Keanu. Shadow's always been my favourite Sonic character, so I have bias there, but I love the last third when he's doing that thing. No spoilers here, Adam. I don't think you were here when I said that, but no spoilers. A lot of people still haven't seen it. I love the third act. It was genuinely good. Oh, that's good. I really enjoyed that too. Eric, do you have a favourite Bond film, says Jedge. I really liked Skyfall, but Pierce Brosnan is always my favourite James Bond, though. Yeah, don't worry, Adam. It's alright. You probably didn't hear. But yeah, a lot of people surprisingly haven't seen Sonic 3 yet. They want to, but they just haven't seen it yet. Haven't got to it. Which is why I believe those domestic box office numbers are still going to go higher. Because there's just a lot more people that still want to see it that haven't yet. So I bet you are going to get really good box office numbers this next week. And those numbers are going to go high. Eric, I was asking you a question. How's it going on the Puss in Boots Versus video? It's going good. I took a little bit of a pause because I'm managing these other videos. But it's going really good. I've got that right now in the can, where I'm editing the voiceovers and I gotta put in the footage. I've also got Moana, which I've fully recorded except for the intro. I've recorded all the rest, put in all the footage, except for the animated posters and footage from other movies that are not Moana, and some joke bits that I've got in there. And I've not put in the music yet. I've got to put in the music, and I've got to adjust the levels of the music and everything. So there's a lot of work left. And on top of that, I've already recorded yesterday my voiceover for my Mufasa review, and I've edited that. Now I've got to put the footage of all of that in. And I've also worked on a Let's Watch Christmas episode for you guys, which I'm going to be putting on a first time watching video, which I'm going to release for you guys on Christmas. So I've done that as a video, which I've edited. So that's in the can. It's just going to be ready to be uploaded anytime. Or you can watch the full version of it on Patreon right now if you want to. And what else have I got? Yeah, I think that's basically what I've got right now. A lot of work, as you can see. Wow, Big Bash says, Eric, what is the exact number of videos you are working on right now? I don't know. One... I just finished one, so that one will be away. So we got Mufasa, we got Moana 1 versus 2, we got Puss in Boots. I'm also going to start writing Sonic 2 versus 3. I've got... some movies that I have to watch, that's not counting. I've also got a fifth video, which I know I'm going to do, which is to do with Let's Watch or something very soon. I'm going to start recording that as well. So yeah, about 4 or 5 videos I'm working on right now. I've finished a script for a 6th one, but I don't know when I'll be doing that, but we'll see. And yeah, Sunday, what was it? Every Sunday I've still got these live streams as well. So there's a lot to do. Okay, where is the other question? Oh wow, Saeed said this is the last week of 2024, and thank gosh that next Sunday is not going to go into the new year, so we got one more week. Wow, I didn't realize that. Jess says, Eric, I owe you 3 apologies from what I did to you this year, and I regret it. Do you want to hear it? It's okay, you don't have to apologize. So long as you acknowledge it now and you know, it's all forgiven. Forget about it. Just don't do those again, and we're perfectly fine. That's all. You've been much nicer to chat to recently. So it's been fine. It's good that you've not been saying to me, Eric, where are you, and all that kind of stuff, because I see your questions, but usually I'm either just too busy or there's a time difference and I'm asleep or something and I don't see your questions, but I do answer them. And I appreciate that recently you've not been pushing me like, Eric, hey Eric, you there, Eric? You've not been doing that like you were doing as well, so it's fine. Just post your questions, wait for me. I might take longer sometimes, but I will answer them. So yeah. Let's see. I've got a lot of questions here coming in here. Give me a second to adjust. Khan says, now I just realized there's another Khan in the live stream. I guess my distant relative came to this live stream apparently. I don't know, kind of funny though. Yeah. Keanu doesn't have an ego. He's a nice person, says Batman235. Brian Nolan says, Eric, I loved your Batman versus video. Now looking back at the movie, do you think there is more flaws? P.S. I liked it, but think it was a tiny overrated, like the Riddler had no motivation in Act 3. Yeah, you can start poking holes in the Riddler a bit as to exactly why he ended up going the way he did. I like the beginning when he's going after the rich people because of how they were stealing money that was supposed to go to them from the Wayne Fund. So that made sense. But then when he wanted to flood the whole city and kill everyone, that's where I have a question mark right there. The Time Shadow says, you did a versus video for Venom and a quick movie review for Venom 2, Morbius, and even Kraven the Hunter, but you didn't do anything for Madam Web. Yeah, I don't know why. I think I was either too busy or I just didn't want to see it. One of the two, but I won't make that mistake anymore. We'll see what I do with Madam Web, I don't know. But I have covered them all, yeah. Except for that one. Where's the other questions? So he says, thank you everyone that I know in this live stream. You guys are very funny and always put a smile on my face. Oh, that's very nice. Joshman says, Eric, are you also working on your best and worst list for 2024? For the last couple of months, I've been adding movies to those lists, and I still got to see more movies before this year closes out, so I haven't added more to it just yet, but I will be working on those too. Yes, that's 2 extra videos. The G-Gamer says, Puss in Boots, Sonic, Mufasa, Megamind 2, best and worst list. Anything else you're missing? I've already written some of the potential movies on there, but like I said, I'm going to have to watch more movies, and then I will be able to see which one stays on the list and which one gets pushed down and all that stuff. So I'll work on that list, but I'm too early in it to really say anything about it right now. Eric, what did he do? That's okay, that's between me and Jess. I'm not going to be spreading that. Do you think Roger Craig Smith deserves to be in more in Batman movies after his performance in Arkham Origins and Arkham Shadow? He deserves to be in more animated stuff. That's what I think, for sure. Are you thinking of ending these live streams, Saeed? No, because I've been responding less to you guys in the comments, and I've said my way of making it up to you, because I always used to respond to comments. I said my way of making it up to you is by doing these weekly live streams. So I've made that commitment, and unless there is some problem, I'm not going to break off of that commitment. I'm going to keep on doing it. But maybe, we'll have to see. It depends how busy I am sometimes. So that's what we'll have to see. But no, I intend to continue doing these. And you guys, thank you very much for joining them every single week throughout this year. I've really appreciated it. It's been so nice. Big Bash, I don't think my siblings did watch the 2012 TMNT. I think they watched the first season and a half, but then we all kind of fell off. Just my brothers really were watching it with me. G-Game says, question, is Mufasa review going to be in the car review or a regular review? It'll be a regular review with editing and everything, so it won't be another car review. Thanks for being understanding, Eric, says Jess. No problem at all. Let's see. Adam Grunther says, has Nicholson surpassed Phoenix for you as the better Joker after Joker 2? I would say yes, but at the same time, I've separated Joker 2. If you watch my Joker versus video, I have separated the two films and said, clearly Todd Phillips was in a very different place when he was writing for Joker 2 than when he was writing for Joker 1. So I'm able to put the split in between, I can really put a split in between and say, yeah, push Joker 2 off to the side and Joker 1. But yeah, I do think Jack Nicholson is better compared to Joker in the second movie, for sure. Let's see. Eric, are you going to be doing a movie review on The Passion of Christ next year? No, because King of the Monsters 2021 said that he's got other ideas for videos he wants me to do. He wants me to do another Godzilla review. So I'll probably do that. By the way, sorry for spamming questions. That's okay, Goat. It's alright. Let's see. Can you make a three-way verse video of the Deadpool trilogy? I thought about it when Deadpool 3 came out, but I didn't want to do it. I just don't really have enough passion to really compare those three films. That's probably why. But like I've always said this, if you commission it on Patreon, I will do it. It'll be on the list and I will get to it. So if you really want it that bad, you can commission it on Patreon. But no, personally, I don't want to make... I wasn't going to make the video, personally. But like I said, if you commission it, I will definitely make it. Saeed says, let's make the next live stream even more better as it's the last live stream of this year. Anyone who agrees? Well, how can you make it more special? They're always special to me. Adam Grunther has done a $2 super chat. Thank you very, very much. And he says, is Zod the best DC film villain not from Batman? Well, when you take Batman out of the equation, I guess he is. But that's only if you're talking about movies. If you're talking about shows and stuff, like I said, I think Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor is a better villain. But if you're talking just about movies, then yeah, I would say so, yeah. I'd say that he is probably the best DC villain. You mean movie specifically? Then yes, he probably is. But I feel like there might be another one that I'm just not thinking about. There might be. Adam Grunther says, just be clear, I mean Terrence Stamp Zod, not Michael Shannon, lol. Don't worry, I was not referring to Michael Shannon either. I did not like his Zod. Khan says, Eric, hey Eric, what upcoming videos that you're doing right now? I've got a first time watching The Grinch, the original animated version. I've got that coming up. If you want to watch the extended version and the full version, head on over to Patreon where you'll get to see it. And you can watch that right now, but I'm saving this one. I've had it in the can for quite a few days now, like about a week or maybe more, and I'm going to release it on Christmas. Also, I'm working on the Mufasa review, which I'm going to be doing. I'm also working on the SnyderVerse video, which I haven't started proper work on yet. I've just taken notes for Sonic 3, but I'm going to be working on that. I've also got... I wish I could bring my list up. But I've got plenty of videos coming up. I've got, like I said, Puss in Boots 1 vs 2, which I'm still working on. Moana 1 vs 2, which will probably be the next versus video to come out. And then I've got another video in the works as well. So there's plenty of stuff for you guys coming up. And then, of course, I've got my best and worst of movies to do as well. So, yeah, plenty of stuff. Don't worry about that. All right, then. I feel like that's about it. I can see you guys are still asking me a lot of questions. Most anticipated movies of 2025, says Goat. Superman and Mission Impossible, the next Mission Impossible. Those are my two most anticipated movies. Hey Jake, I was literally just about to leave right now. I was going to, but I'll stay if you want to ask some questions. There's a lot of questions here, guys. So like I said, Super Chats or Streamlabs chats will really help put it on my radar because I'm going through so many and I'm missing some as well. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking you a question. What is the main reason you do not want to see Megalopolis? And have you seen The Wild Robot? Wild Robot I've not seen, but I want to see. Megalopolis, I've not seen Megalopolis. And from all the bad reviews, I don't want to. I saw one clip, and the acting was atrocious. I was like, what the hell is happening here? So yeah, I don't want to watch a lot of this crap. They've released a lot of garbage in this year, and that is one of them. Let's see. Most disappointing sequels you have watched this year? Well, Joker 2, of course, is one of the most disappointing sequels. So I think I'll put that one on the top of the list for disappointing sequels. I mean, I think he is. If not for Terrence Stamp, Zod wouldn't be as iconic of a character. I agree, Adam. I feel with a lot of these villains, there are several people who have and can play certain DC villains. Terrence Stamp is to Zod what Heath Ledger is to the Joker. Yeah, in many ways, yeah. Is it the clip where Adam Driver says, go back to the club? I can't even remember because I'm telling you, the acting was so bad in it, I immediately just clicked out. I was like, this is horrible to look at. Like, it literally hurts my eyes and ears to be watching this and listening to this. But it was a scene that had Aubrey Plaza in it. It was one of those scenes, and I was like, how she's talking, how he's talking, I was like, this is bad, very bad. I quickly got out of the video. What's a movie you feel could have been a hit had they been advertised better, said Jake. A movie could have done better if it was advertised better? Equilibrium is a movie, one of my favourite movies, that could have been done better if it was advertised better. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and the biggest one, The Iron Giant. That is a movie that is known for not being advertised correctly, and that is why it failed and flopped at the box office. And it only really caught up on video, on home video. That's how it became as big as it was. It's a very bad look when Shia LaBeouf is the most entertaining actor in your movie. I've not even seen his performance in it, but yeah, that I could imagine that would be. Okay, guys, this has been an absolute pleasure, but it's 10 minutes till 1 a.m. here where I am, and that is yeah, that pretty much is means I should be leaving right about now. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be, like I said, if there's a super chat or Streamlabs chat, I'll answer that right now before I end the stream. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to be having a green tea or something, and then I'm going to get to editing that Mufasa video, which I don't know how long it'll take me, but I'm going to try to get to editing that. And then I'm going to get some rest and maybe create the thumbnail in the morning. But yeah, thank you guys very much. This was a wonderful stream. I really enjoyed it with you guys. Thank you very much for your super chats and your Streamlab chats. They were so generous, and I always appreciate them, and they always help support the channel. So thank you very much. Like I said, if you want to watch that Superman trailer reaction, give me a second. Like I said, all you gotta do is click the link I've just put in the chat, and it will take you to it. And you have to be a YouTube member. But like I said, it supports the channel. It's a 30-minute long trailer reaction where I break down the whole trailer. And I've got so many other trailer reactions. Plus, you get to watch my live streams when I watch movies live. And you can watch them with me live and then ask me questions. So, there's a lot of extra content that you get as a result of your donation. And like I said, it supports me. And I always like to give you guys stuff back in return. So I really hope you enjoy all of that. This was absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it with you guys, as always. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch all of you next time. And Cold Blood, my favourite Deadpool movie, is the second one out of the 3. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.